Good morning. This is Bill Marianis from Stewardship Calling on Ancient Faith Radio. We're coming to you live from Bethesda, Maryland, right in the throes of Washington, D.C., and I'm so honored and privileged today to have with me here Bishop Irenei of the Serbian Orthodox Church in America. And amongst his many other accomplishments, he is also the chairman of the Assembly of Bishops Committee on Agencies and Affiliated Organizations. And he has some exciting breaking news for everybody today about what just happened at the assembly meeting regarding new agencies. You guys, welcome to Ancient Faith Radio. We're glad that you're here with us. Why don't you share with everybody the great news?
Thank you so very much, Bill. I hope I'm not saying anything prematurely, although it is wonderful news. As you know, last year when we met as an assembly of bishops, albeit via Zoom connection, and how wonderful it is, I must say, to be able to finally meet with each other in person and see everybody out of their little Zoom box.
Right.
It's a pure joy. And you can see that we've had very fruitful deliberations, and now we need to put into effect the decisions that we had rendered last year to somehow put flesh on them so that we can have a continuation, most notably in the field of youth and young adult ministries. And so today, as a crowning glory to this year having been proclaimed as the year of the youth, it was the suggestion of Metropolitan Joseph of the Antiochian Church. We have brought into being, as it were, two new agencies of the Assembly of Canonical Orthodox Bishops of the United States of America, which will assure that this year of the youth simply does not end with this assembly 1 year later, but will indeed continue as long as we can have it continue. And so we have two focus points with these new entities that have entered into the fold of the Assembly of Bishops. The latter of the two, which we have just now approved, is the OVC, the Orthodox Volunteer Corps. And they are a ministry for young adults to be able to bring them into the fold of the church by having them take on projects, live together in a common house, as it were. We are going to begin our program in Pittsburgh, and then we will make it go on from there. And so it is very exciting because I have always been of the position that we tend to say youth, young adults, they are our future. They are, of course. However, they will never be our future unless they are our present.
Amen.
And so we have them now with us. Now is the time to do something. And as we say in the church, keros estin, it is time.
Right.
And so we've taken advantage of that keros moment. And we, the executive of this assembly, have asked for the formation of these two entities. And so this was the first to be brought in. Prior to that, also earlier this morning, we brought into being a group which will work as the agency for youth and young adults in our church. So we have a marvelous now tandem. We have the one group which will oversee all of the youth activities, and we hope to merge many of our to date existent activities into this new group, and then to work in tandem with that which is going to be the applicable, the practical side of everything. So it is very exciting for me. I know that Eric Namey has done a lot of work in creating all of the groundwork, the paperwork, and everything else that's necessary in order to have a youth and young adult ministry in our church, an agency which will do the work of the assembly. And when we say agency, we mean that they are the ones tasked with doing the work of the assembly, not merely affiliated with the assembly, but of the assembly. And so the youth will now have a permanent platform, a permanent base from which they can do the work of the church through the Assembly of Bishops. It is groundbreaking work, and I'm grateful to God for it.
Well, Your Grace, that is really powerful. And the fact that you mentioned that this isn't just the end of the year of the youth, you're actually putting something in place now that will essentially continue it on in future. And your committee that you chaired, together with a great group of people, have been instrumental involved in pushing all of these things. What are some of your biggest hopes and dreams that can happen, both from the Orthodox Volunteer Corps that Michael Sider-Rose and Carolyn Barakis are leading, as well as the new youth agency, both of which I need to point out are pan-Orthodox in nature, so that we're truly working together as one unified Orthodox church. What are some of your dreams?
Well, first of all, in order, as you have just mentioned, in order to be an agency of the assembly, they must be pan-Orthodox in character. They must have a ministry which is not simply a localized ministry, but one which embraces the whole of the United States of America in as much and as far as that is possible. So at least the effort is there, the groundwork is there. My expectations are truly great because I see coming from this the beginning of future leadership in our church.
Yes.
We are already grooming leaders from now, and that is absolutely essential. I recall, and perhaps this might seem like a mundane comparison, but I had gone to where we have a youth camp in Pennsylvania, in Shadeland, Pennsylvania, and I had to go and testify before the commission which determines tax exemption and so on. One of the questions which they asked me is, how can I prove that the camp that we have, the children's camp, how does it impact upon the life of the church? And
that was actually a profound question from the taxing authority.
It was indeed a profound question, yes. And I started to laugh actually because I said, well, here I am in the flesh. I attended as a child. I was a camper. Then when I grew of age, I became a counselor. Then I became the head counselor for 8 years, and I ran the camp. And now I've returned as a bishop. And so my ministry has been complete in many ways. It's formed a perfect circle through this camp. This camp influenced me to be with the church, to stay with the church, and to do the work of the church. So here I am, as we would say, perhaps mundanely, but proof in the pudding.
No, that is the perfect testimony of the Lord's plan, right? I mean, the Lord is guiding this work in every step of the way, and you're a personification of that. And
He is indeed.
Your vision of inspiring other young men and young women to find that role of service in the church through these two new agencies is really exemplary.
Thank God, thank God. It's a privilege, actually.
I'm assuming that the taxing authority that you went to was persuaded with that testimony.
They were indeed, and we did get extra tax relief, so thank God that worked out.
So do you want to make a prediction of how many bishops and hierarchs and clerical workers we're going to get through the youth agency and Orthodox Volunteer Corps? Or do you want to let the Lord handle that one?
Let's let Him handle it as He has up until now. But you know what? We can't relegate everything to the Lord. That's why He created us.
Right.
We are His extended hands. If we don't do the work, how can we expect the Lord to do it for us? You see, as the old American adage would go, God helps those who help themselves. And unless we intend to do work, why should we expect the Lord to do work for us?
Yes.
He will. He'll take care of us, but we have to do it as well.
Well, Your Grace, we really, on behalf of everybody in the entire Orthodox ecosphere, the fact that you and your committee, together with a lot of great volunteers, were dedicated enough to focus on the youth and listen to the youth panel we had yesterday and come up with two amazing Panorthodox ministries that can really be transformational is really a testament to the work of your committee and, frankly, the Assembly of Bishops that are actually making true the promise that you made when you declared it the Year of the Youth.
Yes, thank God indeed. I must say, having been asked to take over the chairmanship of the committee that works with the various agencies and ministries and associations and so on, commissions, was a daunting task.
Yes. And we're going to hear your report shortly about that.
Yes. And I'm grateful to God because what pleases me the most is to see the work of two individuals in particular, Eric Namey and Anne McCool, who did phenomenal work. Yes, they are. They're very detail-oriented and so on and very church-minded, so I never have to worry if their decisions are going to be of the church or in benefit of the church. I know that they are. Thank God. But to see the work that they did initially over 10 years ago, now, a decade later, come to fruition, I am so grateful to God because it shows that we simply didn't, let me say it in terms of this world, waste their time.
Right.
They did the work, they laid the groundwork, and now we are able to take that, mold it, shape it, and transform it, and bring it into being, as it were.
Well, for anybody who has any question about what the Assembly of Canonical Orthodox Bishops is doing for the youth, today you've seen an exact dramatic example of a brand new Pan-Orthodox youth agency and a dynamic Orthodox volunteer corps that's going to transform our church. And all of us in the laity are very grateful to you, Your Grace, and all of your fellow hierarchs for the extraordinary work you're doing. God bless you and keep you strong.
Thank you, Bill, with your holy prayers. Thank you.
That's it for us today. We'll be back with you shortly with a few more interviews with some of our exciting hierarchs here, learning about the incredible and extraordinary work that's happening live right here in Bethesda, Maryland at the 10th anniversary meeting of the Assembly of Canonical Orthodox Bishops. God bless, and we'll see you shortly.
In the beauty and glory of our holy Orthodox Christian faith. I feel so very blessed that we are able to gather in person this year, even though we yet face many challenges from this unrelenting pandemic.